Miami, 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 Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Heat Beat Podcast, to our 400th episode. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today is reality check master Tiffany Meeks.
Hey guys, what's up?
And the great Siobhan.
Good evening. Hello, people.
Big
What's up,
400.
Oh, my goodness. That's so significant.
Yes.
Chad is happy. We have a new little layout that we're trying out today for y'all. So, we're trying new stuff. I surprised Siobhan and Tiff. They didn't know. I probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have let people know. But this is really exciting. Listen, I even brought, we're gonna have a little drink today. We're gonna have a little bit of a 15-year single malt to celebrate 400 episodes of Miami Heat Beat. It's not even counting Hangover Time, Weird Off pregame shows, all sorts of other things. To nearly 8 years of doing this, to my friends. People say I sound like a robot. I don't know what's going on. Do I sound fine to you guys? I don't know.
You sound fine here.
Do I sound fine here? Do I sound better? Do I sound better? I'm echoing, people say. I'm echoing. Okay, well, we fixed that.
I can't hear it.
Huh?
Bless you.
Yeah, you can. Okay, this should be better. To restart everything. To big 400, to everybody that got us here in the past, and everyone who's here now, building forward, to everybody in chat and everybody who's ever listened to an episode of Miami Heat Beat. Thank you so much. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to my wonderful friends and our incredible audience for such a wonderful and momentous occasion.
I had them one time.
With a drip drop.
With a 400,
With
Gian.
400.
With
With
400.
a 400.
400.
We have a sub goal this month. 200 subs in the month, and Alf sinks Pepas live on Hangover Time. That's broken. We have subs. I got to fix that. I was kind of messing with that live sub counter. So we'll get that going, but Alf's going to sink Pepas if we get to, I believe we're at like 145 or something like that. We're around there.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we're doing stuff.
All right.
We're doing stuff. We got a lot to talk to today. We got to start the show with, I think the news right before we got on. Erik Spolestra, top 15 coach of all time, named by the NBA. Pat Riley also named. I wonder. I don't even know if this is Erik Spolestra the only coach that has not won a Coach of the Year on that list.
Do you have the list? Can you put it on the list?
I have the list. It's Red Auerbach. It's Larry Brown. It's Chuck Daly. It's Red Holtzman, Phil Jackson, Casey Jones, Steve Kerr, Don Nelson, Greg Popovich, Jack Ramsey, the great Jack Ramsey, may he rest in peace. Pat Riley, Doc Rivers, don't know how he got there. Erik Spolestra, Jerry Sloan, who washes his hair with bar soap, and Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That extensive ass list, Spo is probably the only one that doesn't have a coach of the year.
I don't know how Doc Rivers got there. Doc,
I don't.
He Trojan horsed himself up in there.
Yeah,
I don't
because
know.
just because you got a ring.
People say all the time that one Celtics team is riding a wave of just merit,
Celebrating that one opportunity every year. I mean, hey, I'm not mad at them.
No,
but when you start shoehorning yourself in for greatest of all time, top 15, and you up there with my guy Jerry Sloan, that's not.
Admittedly, a lot of those older guys I'm not with, and I don't have any shame in saying that. But like I understand the names and the significance and the names that I recognize, so I understand the prestige that Spo is being held in. So congrats to him.
Yes.
Deserved.
Yes, Spo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well deserved.
Super deserved by Spo. We love to see it. I mean, dude's won a ton, has made a finals in 3 different decades. One of them was as an assistant, with 3 different teams, 3 different sets of stars and players. Steve Kerr, who's also on that list, has admitted that he runs Erik Spolestra stuff, right? And you watch the Warriors, you see just a lot of what they do defensively and offensively. It's really It's really a lot of Erik Spolestra. I do want to say this Dwayne Wade quote that it gave me goosebumps. Dwayne Wade said, Pat Riley set the standard, but Coach Spo improved on it. That's a dude that was shagging that guy's balls.
Yeah.
When Dwayne would shoot jump shots, Spo would go fetch the loose balls. And Erik went from that to top 15 coach of all time, with the relationship that he has with the stars, that, he's at their weddings, they've talked about when guys leave, they text, they have a close relationship. The respect, you can see how the guys on the floor right now buy into everything that he says. I think Caleb is a good example of that. Shmita's making fun of me. G's going to pull up the skills challenge roster. I'm going to get so much content out of this. What did I miss?
Oh, go. Let's pull it up.
I got the, live shows are great. But yeah, so, Tiff, just, an incredible accomplishment for him to be named with some of the literally just one of the greatest basketball minds ever. And we've gotten to watch him for the better part of over a decade.
Right. I think we because we gloss over everything else that he's done, and we focus on the big three. So we focus on that era because there was so much success. But I think if you're quantifying just pure success, then you have to look at what he's done without the caliber of stars that he had with Wade, LeBron, and Bosh. Because even if you look at what he's doing right now, by NBA standards, yes, Jimmy's a star, Bam's a star, Kyle's a star.
Right.
But
Tyler's a rising star.
They're not mega stars.
Right.
Let's be realistic. They're not mega stars. They're stars, but they're not mega stars, right? And then to have those guys out and to be doing what he's doing with Gabe, Caleb, Max, Dedman, Yurt, the list goes on and on. That, to me, that's even more impressive than what he did with the big three.
And I think people, and I agree with you, and I think even the job that was done with the big three goes underappreciated, right? People don't understand that, even with, the collection of talent that they were able to amass, you still have to put that together in a way that is cohesive and makes sense. And it's easy to say that he had Hall of Fame talent and a dude who was selfless enough in Wade to know that he needed to step back, so step forward. There were a lot of other intrinsic qualities to that team, but you still have to put them in good positions, in the timeouts, in the quarters, going into quarters, closing out quarters. You still have to manage the game and manage ego and personality and time and injury and load and minutes and all of that stuff. So I fully agree with, what your point is about the jobs he's doing with his current bunch, but even give him a little bit deeper for what he did with that Hall of Fame bunch.
Getting them to buy in. I think that was the big, to me, managing the egos and all those things, that's great. But getting folks to buy into these specific roles where Bosh was the man in Toronto.
Yeah.
And then came and basically was, he was third man out.
Yeah.
And to get him to buy in, to do the dirty work, but yet still show up and give you 30 and 10 when the main stars are out.
And the big shots and big time shots.
So how do you keep people engaged in who they used to be while also being who they are now?
Yeah.
To me, that's one of his greatest assets as a coach.
Yep.
Apparently Thanasis is participating in the skills challenge. We need to cover this with the full extent that we have here at Miami Heat Beat. This is all of our resources are going to pour into watching Thanasis be in the skills competition. No, well said, Tiff. I wanna bring out a couple things before we change gears a little bit. It's our 400th episode. We obviously started off with some technical difficulties, as we do, right? We tried new shit. Some stuff doesn't work. I apparently misspelled Siobhan's name and she didn't tell me. on the show. Siobhan, this is content. If I fuck up, you tell me. That's the formula. This is an 8-year formula. It is like, like like liquor commercials and wine. It's like a recipe of 500 years. This is the recipe of the show.
This man is mad that I put quietly in the group chat. This man got my name spelled wrong on the screen. This man is begging for.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you your masochist fine
during Black History Month.
No. That's what we're here for. You know this.
No, listen. I'm here for all the kings. Go ahead, masochism. Let's go. I got
you. What'd you say? Get on the black leather.
Come on. Black leather. All the shackles.
What Fake says can't be mad. G can't spell anything.
But this is a special. Come on now.
Yeah, no. Siobhan's my friend. Siobhan's my dear friend. I should be better, but apparently I'm not. So that's
you corrected where we are. And you corrected it the right way. I was worried that you were going to take the H from the other name.
No. I knew that one was spelled. I knew that the one under you. I double and triple checked. I listen. I as somebody who grew up. People what Fix says Jesus misspells his own name with J. No, but my friends do. My name is Johnny, and my friends just gave up and they just call me Johnny with a J. So that's my life.
Oh.
Yeah, my friends of 20 years. They straight gave up. They're like, nah, we don't do that Italian stuff. Out here in the mean streets of West Kendall. So Spo, top 15 coach, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo at his disposal to win a title this year. I tweeted out after a win against the Hornets and the Wizards and the Spurs, right, following that 3-game win streak, I recklessly said, I think they're going to win the title this year. They feel, Siobhan, I don't like to say team of destiny or shit like that, but there is just something when they're together and whole and they're playing their basketball, there is something incredibly special about the way that they all fit and they all mesh. It's funny because like my job is words, right? Like we are people who are communicators, right? We are on these platforms and I cannot articulate what it is that is so special. Can you perhaps do that?
So I think it's a mixture of camaraderie, fit, and genuine joy. When all the pieces are there, they look and they play with a level of almost peace. Like even when the score may not be, on their side, it doesn't feel frantic. It doesn't feel frenetic. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel, worried. It feels very, very much methodical, very much in control, very much aware and self-tuning and self-actualizing in real time. Like it's learning from it as the collective on the floor, like, right. Like it's like artificial and like learning from each trial and like each thing that it kind of did before. And yeah, it's a beautiful, very well run machine when all of the pieces are there and present and functioning properly, right? I know I've been someone who, I don't know, depending on how you want to look at things, like I feel like I've tried to be as unbiased and kind of realistic as I can be, but I think like there have been points throughout the seasons, where there have been things worthy of talking about, whether it is Bam's aggression or when Kyle chooses to get going or Duncan's shot making or Tyler's slump. Like every one of them have had their things. Gabe not shooting and then shooting, like, right. Every one of them have had kind of their things that have been worthy of pointing out, but that's not without acknowledging the reason why they were chosen to be a part of, this specific team. And I think, you are starting to see it, like just the cohesion, the way that they move around one another, like their spatial awareness, their defensive awareness, they just feel connected in a very special way. And I can understand I don't know, cheesiness, corniness, the woo-woo-ness of not wanting to say, faded teams, that's all of that. But no, they do feel very, very much like a team that was kind of, I guess, put together with a purpose and is like hopefully self-actualizing and reaching, I don't know, like fulfilling you can do it, fulfilling its destiny maybe.
Tiff.
Yes.
they.
Oh, you want me to chime in?
No, I was gonna kind of piggyback off that and pivot a little bit. I actually think that, as crazy as it sounds, some of that injury stuff worked out for them because it put Gabe in a trial by fire, right? It put guys in positions where, and I think it gave Erik Spolestra kind of a little bit of ammunition. I'm like, okay, what do I really got?
Wonder who said that. Wonder who's been saying that all season.
Tiff.
I wonder.
Tiff, that's why I'm bringing it to you. Because you know what? Reality Check Master has logged on. You know, Reality Check coming in, right? Vane Hype gives a tier 1 sub to Erik Spolestra. We love it. Yeah. And, you know, it really gave everyone a reality check. What the fuck do we have? Can I try? Because this is like, I mean, look at the Eastern Conference right now. These games all matter. The Nets are in the play-in. This is fight or fucking flight. And when push came to shove, Spo's like, what you got, Gabe? What you got, Tyler? What you got, Yurt? What you got, Deadman? What you got, Caleb, Max, all these guys? And it kind of, I think we saw some of the ball skill, some of the shooting from these guys, and just, Tiff, you were right.
Well, because the idea would be, you know, whereas everyone loves to talk trades and bring in this person, bring in that person, the reality is if you look at the landscape with the moves that happened today, it's kind of like at this point, if the Heat probably I don't see them making a splash, whereas we need to have an emergency pod. Like I don't see it, but I could be wrong, but I don't see it at this point. So anything that happens now might be a filler, you know, a backup, a buyout, whatever, which means they're not a starter at this point. They're not going to be a starter. But that's the thing. You need to know who you can roll with going into the trade deadline. And it pushed Spo's hand, I believe, because maybe he wouldn't have played Gabe as much. Maybe Max wouldn't have got the minutes. Maybe Caleb wouldn't have gotten as many minutes. But by necessity, he had to play those guys.
Yeah.
And what happened? They all got comfortable in the system. They got comfortable on the court. They just got comfortable. You could see just being together. They got comfortable just high-fiving, dancing on the bench. Like they look like a complete unit. They look like a family. Whereas I joke all the time and say like they're the Autobots.
No, but it really is one.
But in reality, when you think about it, they create this one perfect player when they're all on their job.
Yes.
And we saw it the last 2 games in the third quarter. No matter who was in, they all of a sudden felt the need, okay, now it's time to stack. And what happened? The defense just took away everything the opposing teams wanted to do in the last 2 third quarters. Like they literally became the perfect player. All 5 of them became one perfect player.
When the fucking Power Rangers would fucking combine,
that's
Zord,
who they are.
and be one big ass manga. Yeah.
Right. And the thing about it is that while in essence I also have certain issues about that type of team.
Very same. I was just about to say, yep.
Because if you lose a part or if your ass break,
disabilities,
you gotta go deep into the bag.
Yeah.
But we like what we found at the end of this bag. That's the biggest thing. But the other thing too is that no one is perfect in the East. No. Everyone has issues. Everyone has flaws. Now, I'm going to say this, why I think it's important that everybody's getting the run that they're getting, because I believe personally in a month, Kyrie's going to be eligible to play.
Because Omicron's slowing down in New York?
Nope, just because of they're all questioning if they want to end the mandate.
In New York?
Yes.
Yeah, because the numbers have gone. I see.
Yeah.
I know that in Jersey they're pulling back mask mandates already.
Yes.
You know where.
So I believe he's going to be available to play, and regardless of what anyone thinks about him personally, his on the court basketball skills are rivaled by no one. Like, let's just be realistic.
I mean, but he's playing and they're losing. He's playing road games and they're losing.
Kyrie has never been a number 1, and he's playing as the number 1 right now. Yeah. Let's be honest. Like let's not frame the picture that they're losing, you
Well,
know.
no, I mean they're missing
with
Duran and Harris.
Right.
And, yeah,
But I'm just
Right,
saying,
that
but that's
they're
not,
losing as a whole unit.
it's gone
Exactly.
sideways
That's
for
never-
them in terms of
yeah,
health.
but that's never been his role. He's never been the lead. He's never been the lead horse.
Tiff,
right?
you know what's funny?
So-
What's happening
ahead.
to the Nets, I think, is what people expected to happen to Miami when they would lose a part or two,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's
Yeah.
actually been the reverse. People thought, okay, well, if
They don't
if
have the depth.
KD goes
Yeah.
down, well, they thought they did going into the season, right? That was the narrative. It was okay. We have Joe Harris
They
and Patty
thought.
Mills and LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin and blah blah and the 3 stars and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, oh, if KD goes down, you have Harden and guys, right? And then you'll survive, and that just hasn't been the case.
Right. Because they looked good on paper. But, everyone knows it doesn't matter what happens on paper. You need to see it between the lines. And once they got onto the court, they realized they weren't as deep as they thought. They were a lot older than they thought
Their
they
point
were.
differential was never even great when they were like winning a lot of games. When they were 1 seed in the East, it wasn't. It was like Miami, Cleveland leading the East in point differential, not the Nets.
I
But-
think
Go ahead, Sean.
no, go to.
Well, because the reason why I kind of want to circle back for a second, why I brought up while I think Kyrie may be available in the next like 6 weeks going forward, because now we have Gabe,
Yeah.
we have Caleb, like we have guys that we can just say go get them,
Yeah.
and they, Gabe and Caleb can stay in front of Kyrie. No, you're not going to shut him down, but if you're going to make him work. And then those are also 2 guys that will force him to work on defense. So he has to work for the offense. He's going to have to work on defense because Gabe is going to score and he's going to try to score. So that's not even a question. So we see what we got, and they've been getting these reps. And I feel like Spo won't have a problem with saying, all right, Gabe, go give me 5 good minutes on Kyrie. Go give me 5 good minutes on James Harden. I feel like Spo has the confidence in these guys now that he can just say, go do it.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
One
Sean.
point to the differences maybe between Miami and Brooklyn's bench. I think it may also have a lot to do with the offensive scheme between respective teams' starting unit and what would be their secondary unit, right? Brooklyn's first unit is comprised of, 3 megastars who all are individual isolation threats. And then when the bench comes in, it's maybe one of those 3 guys having to play with a group of guys who, may need a type of similar action to like what Miami does. And I don't watch a lot of Brooklyn. Like they could be doing a whole bunch of different types of motions and a bunch of different shit. But it's one thing to be a team that can play both styles or multiple styles comfortably. Maybe it's a different thing to like be a team whose first and second units almost probably definitely play different styles of offense, right? Like Miami's starters aren't a bunch of isolation guys, but then their bench unit isn't a bunch of isolation guys, but their bench unit is high character, high, good enough talent to where they're able to do what it is that they're asked to do. And I don't know. I think you're right, G, in that I think a lot of people probably expected Miami to look more similar to the way that Brooklyn has looked given team composition and standings and the way that everything shook out. But it's been the complete opposite, and like super thankful for that.
A couple things. Shout out to Fate Steel Taylor. That's the homie. Subscribed to Tier 1. Said Heat shot selection is so much better than Kyrie's. Absolutely. Their shot selection is really good.
Yeah.
Shout out to our good friend, family, Nikias Duncan in chat. Says congratulations on 400. He should be here right now, but he didn't.
Right. Don't give him talk to me in the chat.
Nikias has lent us a credibility throughout many years that we would not have if not for him. That is family right there. One of the best fucking people I've ever met. So shout out to Nikias. We are here at 400 in part because of you and everything you've done for us. There was a point, guys, where Nikias was really the only one writing for the website. Nikias would do the dunker spot. Or no, what was the name of the? I don't remember the name of the column. It wasn't the dunker spot. It was the launching pad. That was close, right? Dunker spot, launching pad.
That's close.
Nikias is like, am I the only one writing for the site? I'm just doing the launching pad. So that was it. So love Nikias. That's family right there. Yeah, man. So totally agree with all what you guys are saying. I think that, and I think that's in part because, we undermined their depth and their talent development and the guys that they had on the roster. I certainly did. Right. I was the one that, famously said, if Max Strus plays for your team, you're not a good NBA team. And then a couple weeks later, I said, Gabe Vincent is not an NBA player. And I was wrong. Right. That happens sometimes. Right. And these guys kind of find their group. Their depth is incredible. And I want to kind of shift away from their depth a little bit and talk about what they're doing with the starting unit, because the starting unit has been monstrous. 95 defensive rating. That has been consistent since day one. The defense, when those five guys, when PJ, Duncan, Jimmy, Bam, and Lowry are on the floor together, it is staunch. They switch everything. They help. It's a lot of smart guys. And, the surprise, almost guerrilla warfare kind of trapping that they throw in without any notice. It almost seems random, but they're in sync. Right? All of a sudden, PJ and Bam trap you in the corner, and you're like, what happened? Where did this come from? They weren't doing this before. And then they won't trap for the rest of the game, or maybe they won't trap for another 15, 20 minutes. And Siobhan, let's start with the defense, because we could talk about how the offense is a work in progress for that unit. Defensively, that is as real as anything on this team right now.
Yeah. And so there are ways to communicate that happen, like in the huddle or pre actually stepping on the floor, right? You could say, fuck it, this possession, we're going to trap on the third pass. And wherever the third pass is, those two dudes are in the trap, and then everyone else is rotating, right? They can have, nonverbals, they looking at each other like, we going to go, but that comes with, the stuff that we were talking about from before, just like the makeup of the team. And yeah, like you said, the offense can be a little bit of a separate conversation, but defensively, when they're locked in and when they are, I think, alert and disciplined, when they are alert and when they are disciplined, right? When we're not flying through closeouts and we're not lunging at people and we're not getting antsy and raising up,
reaching
off of. We're not reaching. Yeah, we're not handsy with reaching. We're not anxious and raising up on our toes from head fakes, right? When we're disciplined, when we're in our bodies, when we're centered, I think, like you see, again, the cohesion of what that defensive unit has been able to be, right? Duncan, give him his credit where it is due. I know that I'm critical of him. I'm critical, but I think I'm critical of a lot of them. But, he catches a lot of it. And it's okay, and I don't mind it, but I'm going to give him his flowers where they're due, and he has, again, kind of similar to last season, right? Like getting better in season at the schemes, at the principles defensively, and at like where he's wanting to position his body. He's fouling a bit less than he was. I think that's evidence of a lot of stuff. So they are a unit defensively with that starting five. And I think they're going to, I think that they know that they're going to have to be able to rely and lean on it, when moments get tight. Maybe switch out one piece here, maybe a piece here, but the core right there to, locking stuff down, or is the core to locking stuff down is found kind of in that five.
Because that's the thing. All teams have, no matter who you have on offense, all teams go through offensive droughts. Like it just happens. But as long as you've got the defense to fall back on, the offense will pick itself back up, because you'll get some early runouts. You can get some quick lobs. Like things will happen. You can get the offense back going. But to me, that's their most important thing, where they hang their hat, is that defense. And I always look at it like that's another aspect of coaching that we don't talk about.
Yes.
The overall coaching, the overall coaching team that Spo has assembled. Because let's be realistic, like Duncan, Max, I mean, come on. I could just dribble right past them, like realistically. But you can see they are becoming students.
They buy in.
Yeah, a lot of buy-in.
They're buying in, and the thing is that they are studying.
Max especially, Tiff, because Max is the one that would get lost. Max was a better on-ball guy,
but
when shit was behind him, it would get lost.
Yeah, but that's the thing, and you can see he's literally in film session. Hey, buddy, and he's learning where to be and how to be. And you can kind of see that in the progression with like some of the charges that he's taking, some of the blocks that he's been able to get over the last couple of weeks, where he's finding himself in the right position. He stopped doing so much
You
of
talking
this,
about Max or Duncan?
which is
Max.
I never
Max.
Max. Max had a problem doing this
Yeah.
too early in the season, which I don't understand what this means.
It
Where he
means
can
I'm off
go.
balance and I'm
Like,
on the balls of my
right,
feet when I'm.
exactly. But now you can see he gets a little more bend in his knees. His
Yeah.
stance is a little bit wider because he didn't realize like you've got a big body.
He has the
You
body to defend.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm gonna try something on stream. I'm gonna change views
Oh, no.
to add a person that just logged into the call. I have no idea if this is gonna work. Okay, let's try it. 1, 2, 3.
Hey,
It
Iman.
feel like Miami.
My mic's not on. Okay, my mic's on. Okay, we're good. It worked.
I hear.
It worked. Okay, we worked. Okay,
Yeah.
now we just gotta add the camera. This is live, baby.
No, we're
live.
good. We're good.
We're live, baby. We're live. We're live.
Yeah, you're Max having become studious, right? Like you can tell,
Right.
like implementing lessons.
Hello, Iman.
Like integrating
And
lessons.
Right, and just hard work. It's also more work that he's starting to put in. You can
Yeah.
see he looks like he's probably staying after a little bit longer. He's watching more tape. There's only so many times you can get blown by without saying, "I need."
All right now, like damn self.
We welcome in the host of the Dunker Spot, one of the great minds of this league, Nikias Duncan. We haven't used this layout in so long that his name tag said Iman because that's how long it's been. That's how long it's been. What's up, Nikias?
What's up, Nikias?
Yeah, you know,
Close enough. Same
We're
thing
close
when
enough.
you think about it. How are y'all?
we're happy. We're celebrating. You know, we're doing live production that I was a little nervous about, but we make it.
Happy 400s, Nikias.
Happy 400.
That's how-
You're
that's how-
you're as much a part of this as anybody else.
Happy 400.
Right.
Yeah, man. I got in kind of early, and I say it all the time. Like, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without the platform that Heat Beat gave me. So I'm always
love you,
appreciative.
and
So
we would not be here without
Well
you.
deserved, man.
Nikias, let's stop the sap. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty. Okay, I tweeted out the Heat are gonna win the title. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of the Nets. I know that you're Bucks. I'm sorry, Bobby Portis in a drop. I'm not scared of that. Bryn Forbes isn't there anymore. I'm not scared of that.
Yeah.
I know that Milwaukee's, what are they, a 2 seed right now or 3 seed, whatever they are. I don't know. What I know.
What are they? A poultry.
What are they?
What I
seed?
know,
Right.
Siobhan, Nikias, and Tiff, is that Milwaukee's not above the Miami Heat. And I just, other than the fact that they won the title last year, Nikias, I haven't seen much on the court that shows me that they're better. Am I being a homer? Am I being a Kyle Lowry lifer? What am I doing?
there's a little bit of homerism going on, but it's justified. 'Cause Miami is really good. They're at the top of the conference for a reason. I would say, what is the record now? I think Milwaukee is 20-5 this year when their big three plays together. I don't think you'll see much of Bobby Portis in the drop. Like, they've been playing him high all year long. I am intrigued by that. That's the best way to use him because we saw what Bobby Portis in a drop looked like in the playoffs last year, and that was not ideal. So playing him at the level or higher, having a guy like Giannis swarm around the back end, that's terrifying, honestly. But no, Miami is really good. Like, I'm not gonna poo-poo on their title chances. Like, I don't have them as my favorite, but I understand why you do.
Would you
Who's your
have them-
favorite? I don't know that answer. Who's your favorite?
I have Milwaukee coming out the East right now.
Okay.
Would you put Miami second, or do you still have Brooklyn over them?
I would have Miami second at this point.
Let's go. We're moving up the rankings.
Yes, Nikias power rankings.
I mean, I get it, Nikias. You can't beat a king unless you beat the king.
I think so.
What's a
That's
king?
how it
What's a
works.
king to a god? It's a God's
I'm
for
not
non-believer.
gonna just going.
I mean, Jordan ain't on the Heat, so I don't know what you talking about.
Well,
Nikias, so we were talking about their starting five right now. Now they're complete for once. Right now they have PJ Duncan, Bam, Jimmy.
time. Yeah.
About time. They had played, I think, 15 games before this recent 3-game stretch where they're whole. We talked about the defense already. Offensively, I think they still have some kinks to work out. They're shooting about 30% from 3, 31%, in those 218 so minutes that they've played together. What's going on offense? Their offense, I think it's like at a 108 offensive rating or 111, something not great, but not the worst in the world. What's going on there? Is that just shooting weird variants, or do they have some legitimate kinks to work out in the half court?
I think we haven't seen much of everyone healthy, but just as Heat team in general, once they face like athletic switching teams, you kind of see like, oh wait, they don't have a pure blow by guy. Oh wait, they don't have like an elite advantage creator.
Right.
And the one guy that can be that is Bam. And one, he hasn't been there a ton. And two, like it just depends on what night you catch him. Sometimes he's aggressive, sometimes he isn't. Sometimes even when he is aggressive, the shot isn't falling. So like that's kind of the wild card with the half court offense for me. As far as the offensive rating and stuff, like Lowry and Duncan Robinson couldn't knock down anything at the beginning of the year. So like that's just going to drag the overall number down. Moving forward, I expect that to get better, but they still have to solve the how do we beat a switch question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's certain kinds of switches. It's like the Raptors and Celtics switches, because like I think they've shown that they can beat smaller switches, right? But I think it's the 5 guys that are 6'8" type switches.
Well, I mean, there's a good chance you'll see one of them in the playoffs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in round 1.
Right.
As
So
Yeah, that's
so you
Things
gotta
that need to getting solved.
right.
soon.
So you got to figure it out sooner than later.
like if we're looking at if we are to presume that Miami's the 1 seed rest of the way, like Miami and Boston in the first round, that would not make me feel good.
I don't want that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't really want anybody. To be honest with you guys, I want the Nets and I want the Bucks, and I don't really want any. Cleveland scares me. I want the Sixers. They're frauds. But like everybody else is kind of like, do I want to play Toronto? Do I want to play Toronto? Somebody's gonna die.
We also have, like I keep telling y'all, we gotta stop saying folks are frauds, because
Oh yeah, y'all don't be giving nobody any type of
because on
credit.
any given Sunday,
I
because on
hate it.
any given Sunday, anybody can beat anybody, and not for nothing. Like whether you like him or not, Joel Embiid is balling. Like
Right, fraud, this and that.
Yeah,
Oh, he's good.
Man,
MVP runner
that's
up.
a matchup problem. That's a matchup problem for anybody in the
You
league.
said runner up?
He's not gonna win. He shouldn't win. It
Well,
shouldn't.
but that's
No, I
neither
know, I
here nor
know.
there. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, all these different. There's an issue with each team in the playoffs that you could face.
Yeah.
For
right?
sure. No, for sure.
Let's be happy about what the Heat are doing, but let's not dog anybody, because I don't want nobody pulling this
Tiff,
footage up
it's
later.
slander o'clock. You know what I mean? This is
Slander o'clock.
listen. This is I don't know if this is the formula.
But what
So here's the thing: the other fan bases aren't going to clip the slander of Clark part. They're just going to clip the
the
slander.
slander? Right.
And if Miami loses a series in 5 because they can't
Right.
score,
Oh, I've
then
been
that's
there.
gonna
Listen.
be- that ain't gonna be great.
I have a thing.
Listen.
If you are not getting clipped for your bad takes after 8 years of doing this, then you're not doing this right. You know what I mean? Like if a
I respect that.
couple of them are gonna get some smart. Dave Dufour has had some stinkers. Smart guy. You have had some stinkers. We all end up a butt of a joke on Twitter. That's just the cycle. You can't be scared of it to give takes. You can't. I actually
No, there's a difference though between giving takes
I think I'm a couple years in. I don't
and
know.
slander. Like there's a difference. Like when we
So I don't
like
know
talk
what
about
y'all
Joel
talking
Embiid sloppy floppy, that's slander.
They have looked better without Simmons.
Sloppy floppy is incredible.
I heard something different.
That's good one. You know what?
I haven't heard that one yet.
You got it.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my god!
Y'all
Listen,
got
Nikias said leave the nickname sauce.
I like him better, and I like him better playing like this without.
That's how
seeing
he's
him
supposed to
play.
play. The reason I don't like him because he doesn't play like this.
Well, no, it's because help comes like. Nikias, can you? I don't know. I'm not out here watching Sixer film. I'm just watching Heat games and stuff. To me, it seems like when Simmons is doing the Simmons thing of standing, hovering around the basket, that help is so quick and easy for Simmons' man that Embiid doesn't have time to see or feel the double, which contributed to his turnovers. Because it's just like, oh, I'm just going to double him. That pass is kind of tough, and he's going to turn the ball over. Now that they have a semblance of spacing, you know, when help comes, he has a lot of time to see it coming, and teams are just not doing it as much as a result because it's like, okay, you got to come from the far corner. Like, the help's not as ready as when. Am I just talking out of my ass or like?
I think that's some of it, but also like, I think a lot of the credit goes to Embiid, honestly. Like, he is genuinely seeing the floor better and mapping it out better and being a little bit more decisive. The spacing helps, like not having someone in the dunker spot all the time helps. But like they do still do that. Like, you'll still see Matisse Thybulle in the dunker spot sometimes. But I think he's just doing a better job of filling this out.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time. You know, you need a little bit.
Yeah, but I think
Too much credit for Embiid, huh?
Right.
I think you said it right though. The indecision, right? He feels more decisive. He feels more confident. He feels just more like he's not playing as much. He's not like goading the crowd. Like he just feels a bit more locked in. And I think a lot of the other stuff, you know, does help. It's the same kind of argument like I get pissed with Jimmy for cutting right on top of Bam's lap when he's trying to fucking operate. It's the same thing. This Bam's already trying to post up in the dunker spot. You're gonna cut right above the block.
But first of all, let's talk about Bam posting up though. Like,
no, I'm with it because he's going to it more. No, keep trying. No,
it looks bad. I mean, I agree with Siobhan.
Because he doesn't do it.
Because he doesn't know how to do it, which means he needs to do it more.
And it's always guards.
He made me so proud. He got it one time, kicked it out, and then ducked in, like sealed, like
baby's first Duncan.
Jimmy gave sure. You gotta start somewhere, guys.
He do.
Go
but
champ.
That's the thing. But that's the thing, when he does finally get into a rhythm and he does try to post, all of a sudden you see like the back of Jimmy. Just like, not even the front. Like, Jimmy's not even like this. It's like his back is like cutting through.
He just literally, he would just be trotting through like, do, like, oh, hey, y'all. Like, get out the way. It's 3 people in the fucking paint. Go away. It's 7 bodies in the paint. Can you go somewhere?
But the sad part is, they do it frequently, and yet they still keep winning.
They know Bam will try to make the pass. That's the worst part. Like, you don't enable his worst tendencies. Like, stay out. We want 5 out spacing with Bam on the floor.
Don't enable him.
Bam is like,
Bam loves to hit cutters like in that little mid post area. That's like,
I'm telling you, that's what
Christmas.
Tempt him with a good time.
Beamed in the head with him trying to like whip it to the far corner, or Duncan gonna come flying in front of his face, and you just get out of there.
I swear to God, sometimes I think. Do you guys remember that Olympics when Jason Kidd only wanted to have assists? I feel like that's what Bam's trying to be. That's like the life he wants to live. He's
but
like,
no, these last 3 games, and that's
what we want.
The key.
Do we think that's the knee though? Do we
Huh?
think that like he was off for a long time and like the knee feels good? Because remember, like
I don't.
You know,
I genuinely think so. So we all have feelings about like every post game presser of him, you know, oh, I gotta be more aggressive. I gotta do right. The other day, I think Alex posted his presser, and it sounded and it felt different. Like, no, okay, so these guys actually want me to shoot. Like, I am not hurting my team by shooting. It feels like it's actually clicked for him that, in fact, young sir, you are damaging us by not shooting.
Right.
And so he feels as if that is clicked for him now. And I hope it's something that remains and stays consistent, because with that, you see him getting downhill, like taking people off the dribble, kicking it out, actually trying to find some position, being, you know, decisive. That's going to help them, you know, figure out how to beat switching teams. He has to stay. And it doesn't have to come with gaudy numbers, but it has to feel intentional and like decisive and confident.
Well, even just look at it from the scope of things. These blowout wins that they get, They're on the heels of Bam having active games.
Yes, active. Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying because of 20 points, but I just mean
No.
being active overall. And like, come on, they can't stack and be the Autobots if he ain't doing his thing. So if you ain't doing your thing, guess what? It's
You
not
the
gonna
whole
work.
legs. You all the legs.
No, he is Optimus Prime. Let's be realistic. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to talk
Yeah.
about it,
He is.
but this team literally is going to go as far as Bam goes.
He is. Yeah.
He's a mismatch on the floor, whether or not he chooses to see it. He's the one true. You know, Jimmy can back you in and do all these things that Jimmy likes to do, but Bam is truly the mismatch on the
But
floor.
he has to recognize in which direction
I
he
agree.
has the mismatch. Is it I'm going to be out physical, or I'm going to try to out physical this dude, or am I going
Right.
to be smaller and finesse and agile and off the dribble?
Right.
He, in that finals run, I think that's exactly emblematic of it. He was the engine of everything that they did, and it was Jimmy's kind of. It wasn't. I think people mistake that they went as far as Jimmy took them because of the finals run and because of the couple closing games in the Buck series, but it was really Bam was their best player in the bubble, and I don't think it's coincidence that it was off of rest, and it was kind of and I always. I do this sometimes to Heat Beat. I point to like a specific moment and I just kind of harp on it a ton, but that Celtic series when he realized, oh, there's nobody on that back line to help on pick and roll, and I screen for Gogi, and that help guy is small, and I'm gonna score every time. And then the end of that game 6, he's like, I'm gonna get the ball, I'm gonna face up, Jimmy's gonna cut baseline, I'm gonna dump off pass when help comes, and it's just he had put it together in a way that I haven't really seen him do since. And then we know he went down in the finals and all that, but he is the ceiling raiser. As much as I like to say Lowry's the ceiling raiser, I kind of think Lowry's just the piece that makes everything fit and make sense. He's the guy who everything around us now makes sense. Jimmy doesn't have to bring the ball up. I can trigger. And Bam is really the ceiling raiser, and Jimmy just do Jimmy shit. You know what I mean?
Maybe Kyle's like the floor setter. Like, this is stable. We can stand on as high as we can stand with this guy.
Right. I thought you said he's LaFleur. You can dodge this ball.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
They're gonna be fun come halftime. They're gonna
cramming up the cram hole, the floor.
y'all play too much, man. I can't.
Bam just went 7 of 21 against Charlotte. That might be the most proud of him.
No, dog, same.
Yes. Same.
Channel your Kobe.
It's like, you know what? Those jumpers are rimming out, but you're taking them.
This is it.
Chef's kiss.
This is the moment.
Between him and Jimmy eating up the same area on the floor
all the time.
You gotta like stretch it out a little bit, take some more jumpers and all these things.
They eating the same sundae with 2 spoons.
What do you think of this
and
shit?
no toppings.
It's not too much to go around, but they making it work. Yes.
So I'm curious, Nikias, what do you think of this team? Like the overall team, including
I feel Nikias and I think the same, except I'm just incredibly optimistic than he is.
So then you don't think the same, Nikias?
Because I'm with him. That I'm
Back
like
to you, Nikias.
the same. Okay, let's go. What do you got?
I think that I think this at its peak, I think it's the second best team in the East. Like, I do think Milwaukee's the favorite, but this has been the most fun I've had watching this Heat team because they've had to do a little bit of everything. Like, I was just on Ringer episode with Kevin O'Connor. I think this is Erik Spoelstra's best coaching job just for what he's had to do on both ends of the floor, like full scale scheme shifts. Jesus, don't say that 5 times fast. But anyway,
Fun.
Just watching them go between different schemes based on the personnel he has available, different lineups out there. They're doing different things. To Siobhan's point, like the second unit runs a completely different, plays a completely different style than the start. Like, it's just been fun to watch him press all these buttons. And so they have answers for just about everything that teams can throw at them. My only question is, what does this team do against switches? What does this team do against athletic teams that have some size to them? And can they create efficient looks? Mm-hmm. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Jimmy just has a run where he's just shooting 48% from mid-range for a series, and it's a bunch of tough shots and whatever. But can they create good shots
They gotta
consistently.
start from higher up. Like I just want to see them one time.
Right.
Like just start near the damn half court circle. Give me a flat screen and just let whoever it is with the ball go, and then read from there.
You're asking a lot of the ball handlers.
Not really.
No one has zip.
No, I don't think. I disagree a little bit. I think we got a little bit more rim pressure than it appears
no one has
we do
zooms like
on the surface.
No one's
Well,
zooming.
but there's also a thing called the illusion of what you're doing.
Yes.
Just because if you want to space the floor and start out higher, that doesn't mean you need to go full speed.
Yes.
Like, sometimes even just being moderate in that can give you different looks. So you don't need to, look, Kyle Leifer.
What?
Gabe's
Call him out.
Getting downhill.
Kyle got rest. He might have some zoom left in the reserve tank. Don't know.
Kyle looks springy off like 2 days rest. Kyle's like going downhill and doing stuff, but other than that, he looks like a 35-year-old,
And maybe that's the time where he's off ball.
That's fine. I think he's been a phenomenal screener and mover without the ball. I think that he gets them in gear quick, right? I think that's kind of his role in the team. Kind of want him to shoot a little better. I think he can attack a mismatch. I think out of anybody, he's the guy who can find a big guy on the switch and do the most with it. But other than that, like, he's just not turning the corner like he used to, which is, understandable. And I think it was expected, at his age and all that. Right. Depot's a guy that I think is interesting depending on how he looks.
We're not talking about him.
I'm just saying he's a guy that has a little bit of zip, a little bit of spring. He's gonna be here soon. That's what Bam said. Bam said soon, holding him accountable. So somebody has to. God forbid. Shout out to Alex. So that's where I'm at with them. Nikias, the switching thing concerns me. However, the Nets don't pose that issue, and the Bucks switches don't scare me. So you're left with what? Because if they, I don't know what's going to go on with Lopez. If they downsize to Giannis at the 5, they don't have a PJ to play 4 next to him anymore. They kind of have lost that big wing to help. So, you can finagle the geometry of the court and not have Giannis. You could switch Giannis into a position that you find most favorable, right? Because as a help defender, he's absolutely a destroyer of worlds, and on ball he's good too. So it's not like you win, but the Nets don't scare you. Chicago is a little too small, and I've said this consistently. When Lonzo's guarding opposing 4s, it's just it gets dicey for me with them. So I'm looking at guys like the Celtics and the Raptors at the bottom of the conference that I'm more scared of defensively than the other teams. So that to me is where my optimism comes from. Because if the teams at the top of the East were good at the things that are bad to the Heat, because even Phoenix, they have soft spots because they'll drop Ayton and they have, even if they play Ayton high, they have soft spots that Miami's good at attacking. That's just not like the teams at the top aren't like good at those things.
I get it, but I mean, even to that point, like they would have to win that first round matchup to even get to the point to where.
But they'll out talent the Celtics. I mean, like I just don't.
Will they out talent the Celtics?
Will they out talent the Celtics?
It's not. They can't. They're not. I don't know if they're going to out talent the Celtics. What they have to do is outwork and out scheme.
They're deeper than the Celtics. Maybe are more top heavy, but ain't too much booing that big top up there. Like
that's true. And Boston finally got a good coach, so it's yet to be seen what they can do in the playoffs.
Wow.
Shout out to Nia Long.
Yes, to Sir Long.
Well, look what happens when he gets by-in, Nikias. I'm just saying, bad Stevens.
Okay.
I feel like you're not doing this.
I feel like you didn't discuss the most important thing I saw Nikias tweet this week.
And Nikias tweets a lot. It's hard to keep up.
Okay.
What was that?
That's also true. The dead man, I'm going to take a charge, but it's going to be a block.
Oh, no, that was incredible. Nikias tweeted out a video where Dedmon kind
I
of
remember it live.
goes into charge position and then pivots and gets a block.
Yes.
Incredible.
Talk about that defense, Nikias.
The mechanic.
I didn't know he had it in him. I didn't know he had that in him. That's some good stuff right there. I hope the knees felt well after that.
Do you
That's
think
a whole
those
lot of sudden movements?
Do you think those
Right,
tires
it's-
go from
yeah.
the rack onto the cars themselves? He doesn't have an intern do that. He does that himself. He's a hands-on. He's hands-on.
Nikias, how'd you feel about Dedmon Bam minutes?
Yes, that's
I need to see a larger sample, not too large of a sample, because I don't know if it's gonna work. But like, I need to see more before I have a definitive opinion on it.
Fake.
Like, I get the idea of it, but also like, no, I just need to see more of it. I don't want to poo-poo it.
I feel the same way about that as I do like kale. I don't hate it. I won't seek it out. It might be good for you. It also might contribute to kidney stones. It's kind of like
it might get you past the first round.
it's it's in that it's kind of in that family of things. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I just think there may be the opportunity to where, for instance, if Lopez comes back, PJ needs a breather, and you ain't sure about going to Yurt because you're in the Eastern Conference.
Well, he's gonna be.
Finals.
He's
Because
gonna
everyone
be.
is just so sure we don't need a backup
He'll
forward.
be in
We
Charlotte.
just don't
He'll-
need one
Right.
of those.
He'll be
We
in
just got
Charlotte.
Putting
Right.
everything on PJ's back.
Right. So in my mind, that's why I'd like to see more of it in case you're in a critical moment and that's all you got to go to.
Yeah.
So I would just like to see a little bit more of it in case Spo has to pull it out.
Yeah.
Game 6 with 2 minutes left.
I just want to
'cause-
see them work it out. Yeah, massage.
right, because you don't know, and that's
you
what I
gotta
keep
use
saying
Yeah.
about this season. You have no idea. We have no idea what's happening day to day with this season. Things just look topsy turvy all around the league.
So my question, like, let's say Miami has to pull that out against Milwaukee, and you have Brook Lopez and Giannis on the floor together, who's guarding who?
I think you have Bam on Giannis, and you put. I think Dedmon can give Brook enough.
Are you trusting Dwayne Dedmon closeouts to Brook Lopez 28 feet from the basket?
I'm not.
I'm trusting it till I see he can't do it. That's why I want to see more. Like, I'd like to see more during the season where he's put in that position to have to close, because he hasn't really been put in those positions. But I feel like Spo's been kind of tinkering with it the last couple of weeks, so he might see something that he likes in it.
I like what
So
Cardiana
they-
in chat is saying. She goes, PJ on Lopez. Well, we're talking about when PJ's not on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd put Caleb, and if he wants to post up Caleb, and I know that happened last year's playoffs, if Lopez is going to beat you with his fucked up back, Lopez can beat you. You
On
send
Caleb?
help when you need.
I'm not putting
Who
Caleb
the
out
fuck was
there.
it the other day that
You
was
gonna
like
ruin his whole
Houston on
confidence.
Gabe? Somebody was treating Gabe like he was small a little while
Yo,
ago.
Pascal.
I'm not signing Caleb up for that. I think so. So I watched some of the Dedmon Bam minutes from San Antonio, and one time they had like Bam as the forward in the back line. One time they had Dedmon as the back line. One time they had Dedmon in the drop with Bam as the back line. And so I think maybe to mitigate having to have Dedmon close out 28 feet. I don't know. Maybe you see what their screening pattern is, and then you like set your shit up to where you have, Dedmon switching with the idea that if he gets beat out there, Bam is what that back line is, and then you can have Dedmon like recover on the backside to whoever Bam just stepped up from. I don't know. I don't know that it's something that they rely on heavily. I just want to see if they can do it in case they need to go to it, which I feel like if more teams wise up to posting Caleb's little ass and like posting Gabe's little self, we talk a lot of, we give, I think, Gobert a lot of stuff for, I don't know, maybe his stability in the leg or whatever, but like the Jazz game, when we were doing that like uber blitz out front, that like extra aggressive trap, and they were moving it, they just don't move it to the post. And my fear is, I guess, that like one day teams are going to wise up to the fact to just move it out of the trap, get it to wherever that post mismatch is, and like dump the ball.
Well, we also saw in the Toronto game, Gabe and Max were holding on to people's ankles for
Gabe looked
dear
like
life
a
under the
baby.
basket.
Gabe looked like a
Gabe and
toddler.
Ma-
He just sitting
Gabe
They
here
and
kept
like,
Max.
switching him onto Siakam, and I was like, "Oh God,
and he was getting stunned the whole time.
help him!"
They look like children. Those two look like children under the
Like
basket,
fucking
fighting
gummy
for their
bears.
lives.
That was one of the weirder decisions because they didn't even send like help soon for Gabe Nikias, and like
No, he
so
was always settled. into
Pascal
getting
is like one of the dudes who actually has a bag in the post, and I was like, "What are you doing? Why did you put Gabe down there? That's bad."
Poor
Even though
baby
switch
was
easy, but you
trying.
can't do that.
What'd you
No,
say?
he was trying, but it's like you
Hold
need
on.
There's something that you can
outside.
do.
We
No,
all we all
yeah.
try. Yeah, I'm trying, Jennifer.
At some point, size matters.
It does. I mean, you can't have small. I was gonna move past that, but
Y'all got it.
I was gonna listen. We're a mature podcast that has 4 episodes. Okay, we're gonna move back. And Caius is a distinguished professional. Yeah, I'm feeling good. A couple notes as we get out of here because we're running on an hour. Tiff, you said Harry B rumors to the Knicks. Can they get their fucking disgusting hands off of my precious Harrison Barnes? Can they leave him
Well,
alone? Can they not?
He's going somewhere, G.
Here?
True or false? The Knicks have more assets than Miami.
Probably, yeah, with Quickly and picks. Yeah, they have all their picks.
I
No,
like
well, they
Quickley.
don't have how many. Nikias, how many picks do they owe to Dallas? Is it 2?
I think it's just one.
Is it
at
just
this
one?
point,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
So they have more picks, I think, and they have Quickly, and they have a couple guys. Listen, Nikias, I threw this out at Hangover Time. Duncan and 2 firsts for Harrison Barnes. Is that too much?
No.
I
2
don't
firsts?
think it.
Oh, maybe 1 first.
No, it has to be 2.
Maybe one first and KZ.
I mean, if Karis LeVert just got,
Yeah,
Yeah, what was
Well, that
Carrick's
was a-
package? Or like
it was
what-
basically it was Karis for it was a first that's lotto protected, and Cleveland's going to be a playoff team, so that's gone. A second rounder from Houston, which is going to be like 32 or something, so essentially another first, and then 2027 second from Utah, I believe. Which
Oh.
if Mitchell's a Heatle by then we don't know what that team's going to
I
be
think
like. But
that's. I think then that's a fair asking price.
I mean, Drew went for 3 firsts, which I think really, and then CJ just went for what was it? Was it 2?
whatever. First in a couple seconds, I think.
Was it
Come
that?
on, New Orleans.
It wasn't even the Lakers. It wasn't even the Lakers first, which is oddly the most valuable pick now. Future Laker first round picks are like they're like Kings picks.
Yeah, I'd keep an eye on. Well,
They're like
on
Minnesota
one hand, I'm
picks.
like I'd keep an eye on those, but also like the Lakers were in their worst stretch since like the mid 2000s, and then they signed LeBron. So like at a
Right.
certain point, I just don't know how much their incompetence matters.
It's gonna be tough when Bronny goes to when LeBron goes to OKC to play with Bronny.
Right. Since he just, is just staying at wherever this I'm gone. All right.
It'd be funny if like LeBron's
In
not good at.
Sacramento.
LeBron leaves for Bronny, and then the Lakers get Tatum. Like it's just that's
No,
just how
not
it
even
works.
joke.
or LeBron might be living in Sioux Falls.
Right.
'Cause nobody want to talk about it. Everybody want to just say
Truthfully.
OKC.
Oh, can we do the Zaire Wade to LeBron like the same kind of alley oop in
Listen,
Milwaukee?
Zaire's out
Yeah.
here putting in business over what he's not in Grand Rapids, that's Michigan. What the fuck is
He's
Salt
in the
Lake?
Utah.
I should know
I
that.
don't know.
I
Utah.
know he's in
He's
Utah.
on the Utah team, and yeah.
Roommates had a few of his games.
Listen, both of those young men might just be Sioux Falls and
And that is okay.
Summer-
that is okay.
The
So
Summer
we need
League
to
All
stop
Stars.
talking about right. So we need to stop talking about where LeBron's next.
Listen,
team is,
Bronny
'cause
like
it might
video
be on the
games.
couch.
Bronny gonna be in the E League. Bronny is a video game her. Okay.
Bronny gonna be
as
in the
big as
L
with us.
League. He gonna be in the L League because LeBron gonna start his own league to make sure he got a job.
Not the We Promise League.
The LeVar
Got
League. Jesus Christ. Yeah, just
that was it.
I wanted to talk about Harry B.
Come on.
Gee, we not getting Harry B.
I want him. I know we're not, but I want
I ain't
him.
heard nothing about Harry
He's
B. coming
perfect.
to us. We ain't getting him.
We ain't getting Harry B.
The PJ Washington rumors are interesting. I think a first round pick is absolutely asinine for him.
Can you what?
What you
Two
got?
things on the PJ thing. One, like because I've seen, very anecdotal. This is just my timeline. But I've seen Heat fans on my timeline talking about PJ Washington. And
Yes.
I've seen the trade packages that they would be willing to offer for PJ Washington.
KZ and Yurt.
In which I'd like, what?
Take it or leave it, Charlotte.
You can't want PJ Washington if you think that KZ Okpala
And Yurt.
Omer Yurt-Seven would get PJ.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
He Twitter
like,
told
he
me.
can't be both.
He Twitter
So
told
you
me
mean that
Yurt
person
was a
on the package,
generational big. I'm sorry.
That's just not realistic.
Well,
That's
then,
just not
Like
realistic.
PJ is legit good.
Enjoy not having a center for the next 10 years, Charlotte.
But you got to give up something to get something.
They don't have anything.
No, I'm saying like I don't know. I don't know if I'm looking at Yurt and I'm like, all right,
That's enough. It's not.
like
And it's
yeah,
Like if
because
the
KZ
Heat
don't
can-
count.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No.
Like if the Heat can get PJ Washington for Yurt and KZ, he would have been on the team in October.
Boom.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not getting. What is this?
Nikias, on the spot.
Go down until at least March
What's the
22.
most you're moving? If
So
you
what?
were,
What are you moving for
Yep.
for PJ? What are you moving?
Like, I just don't think you can get. I just don't think Miami can get PJ. That's kind of where I'm
fine.
at.
I don't think so either. But listen. I love the visual of Pat calling. Who's the GM of Charlotte? I don't even know.
They still have Mitch Kupchak.
It's
I believe.
Kupchak.
they
Okay.
call it MJ.
Yeah, you
It's
call
Jordan.
Mick, you call Mitch. I don't think Pat can get on the phone with MJ. MJ might hate. MJ might fucking hate Riley. They might just not do the deal with Riley off of principle.
I
Man.
don't understand why more teams don't.
Bro,
Why are you so
after
crazy?
Chris Herring's book, if I'm MJ, I fucking block that dude's number. I don't allow him into my building. Pat was an asshole. He's like, you gotta hurt this man. I'm MJ. I'm like, what?
I mean,
It didn't even work. That's the worst
so
part.
okay, so you think okay, so let's just say if you felt like the Heat were making a move, Nikias, right?
Mhm.
What do you think they should go? What type of player do you think they need to add to this unit that they have?
Like, I think if you're adding something, I think this is something that floated on the Duncan spot. Like, I would be intrigued with Jeremy Grant if he was willing to play a role. He doesn't seem
What's
to
that
be.
role?
So that's
What's
what
the
I'm kinda out.
role? What's the role you need Jeremy Grant to play?
He ain't the star.
I don't want Jeremy
No,
Grant.
that's fine.
I don't
what's
want
the
him.
role?
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, he wants to be
Yep.
a top option, and like that's
Does
just not
he?
what he'd be. Like,
Yeah, he
Does he
does.
really? I've never
Yeah.
heard of that.
yes,
That's why he went to Detroit.
that's why he went to Detroit to begin with.
I read the whole.
Well, he went to
interview.
Detroit because he wanted to play for a black GM, and
That's
That
the
too.
bulk
That
of
too.
what
that's
Okay,
the part
that's
to me.
part
I'm
of
like,
it.
why y'all shipping
But
this
within-
man to white GMs? He specifically asked. He went there for a reason, and you're just
But
gonna
within his story,
Black History
he
Month of
talked
all
about-
times. Jesus.
on
But
this
within
land.
his story, he did talk about wanting to have a larger
be the guy?
role,
Okay.
wanting to be the guy.
Mhm.
And for me, I like
You
him.
mean
I
a
like-
guy?
Right. But remember what we both talked about. Like, we like him, but we
Yeah.
like him in the role of that, like, oh, you're not eating yet.
Yeah. I need you to slash and like set good screens and like slash some more and like
Mhm.
defend his shots. Like,
And I need you a little stronger on the boards.
yes.
Like, can you take direction? Can you take direction? Because I need more than 4.2 rebounds a game.
Is it that little?
Yeah, he's
It
never
might
been
be
a
four-
good rebounder.
It might be 4.6. But it's in that because
ain't
I
high.
already checked. And I hate numbers and I checked.
Fuck him. Tiff, when you
On brand.
look for numbers, how do you search? If you're gonna look for that, do you just search players' name, basketball reference? How does this work?
Yes, I type in their name and then I type in stats and then I scroll down and I look for career numbers
Okay.
because I want to
But
know.
what's your
like-
site of choice? Is it basketball reference or like ESPN or what do you like?
Oh, I go to basketball reference.
Oh, there we go. Woman of culture. Yeah, woman of
I don't
culture.
trust ESPN.
I don't either.
Hell no.
I don't either. I don't trust Big Disney.
Big
But they
Disney,
do, like,
exactly.
Mickey Mouse fudging the stats.
Big Disney. That's what
Terrible.
it is. That's a thing.
No, but what do you think about Jeremy Grant? Like, where would he fit?
Me?
Like, I
No,
think he,
Nikias.
Thank you, man.
like, I guess in this case, like, he'd be your 3, but I think he could close at the 4. On the
You
night
think
that
he'd
he
be ahead of
doesn't
Bam?
have it. No,
No, Bam will be your 5.
No, Bam. Be
Oh, I
your
thought you
five.
meant the third.
No, 3 is position,
I-
not third option.
Oh, yeah. That's what I thought you meant.
Oh no. But something I floated on the Duncan spot was like, because I'm kind of lower on Jeremy Grant now. One, because he wants to be this high volume
I
option,
agree.
and I don't think that's his
I
ministry.
agree.
And because of that, like he's just kind of miscast. But I floated like Duncan and stuff for Jeremy Grant. Like I would do that if he was willing to.
Does that make you better?
to a
Because you have
secondary
to
role.
start him, and now you're really leveraging shooting.
I think it makes you like he helps solve.
But
Yes.
he hurts.
He's not the
But
answer,
he shrinks your
gets you
he shrinks
closer.
your floor.
He
He
also
shrinks
makes you
your
better
floor,
defensively.
and he's not an off-ball mover.
But you have more options to combat a shrunk floor than you do not being able to go on the offensive against the switch.
You're teetering on like Lakers levels of bad floor spacing without the problem solving of LeBron James.
So here's my thing with that, right? Like one, Jeremy Grant is not a bad shooter. Like teams account for him. They're not sending two to the ball.
He's
like
certainly
with
not a
Duncan. So,
good
like,
shooter.
I don't know. Like percentages are probably down this year because like he's just taking a tougher diet of shots. But like he's been a reliable catch and shoot guy going back to the Denver days. So like he can shoot. Like teams don't ignore him on the perimeter. He doesn't get Duncan level attention, but teams account for him.
33,
So I don't think the spacing would
35,
be awful.
39, 39, 29, 37, 24, 31.
39, yeah.
So it's that.
It's okay.
Into the like it's fine. And again, like teams guard him. Like that's the most important part.
That's all that matters is that he's accounted for out there.
Like teams account and close out DeMarcus Smart. And he's been a meme on this show for years.
That shit's the funniest thing. I love that the Heat at one point just said, nah.
Seems to be accounting for Jimmy. I'm like, if you don't get in the paint and help on whoever's about to drive, what the fuck?
Teams
are you doing
would close
there?
out on Dwayne Wade, and I'm like, what? And he would just pump fake out there.
Listen, don't disrespect my guy. That guy, he was
This exists
Jimmy
because
Butler.
of Dwayne. But my
Jimmy
guy,
Butler, though.
why you biting on fakes?
If you don't get to the
It's
nail
awful, but
and stop this
to that
drive,
But yeah, like teams still account for Jeremy Grant. Like he's one, Jeremy Grant would close for you. Duncan just doesn't. And even if Duncan has been a bit neutralized over the past couple of years with switches, like you have brought up the Toronto example from last year multiple times on this podcast. And so like if teams are going to just switch against those kind of actions anyway, the better ones anyway, and we're talking about like a potential Toronto matchup or a Boston matchup or something like that, you're going to need a switch beater. And Jeremy Grant has a better chance of doing that for you than Duncan Robinson does.
how do you feel about Dorian Finney-Smith?
They're asking for too much.
Huh?
Like
Maybe
I
that
like him
thing,
as
but I
a-
just want general feels.
General feel like I think he's solid. Like I'm kind of wondering what his free agent market is going to be because if someone's going to throw like 18 or 20 mil a year at him, I'm out.
Right.
But like he is legitimately a good defender. He can attack a closeout. Like he shoots well enough. Teams aren't scared of him shooting still. But like he is 3-and-D with a little bit of drive
A little
personified.
bit. Yeah, I agree.
I think he's fine.
Lots to look forward to approaching the deadline. We plan, it's my intention to go live after the deadline for at least half an hour here on Twitch, and then we'll kind of do Weird Off pregame show. There is a game that night against the Pelicans. TBD. We'll decide as a unit what we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something live at the deadline, whether it's WAP or whether it's this or whatever. Whatever we do, we're gonna do something. So stay on the lookout on Thursday for that. Off tomorrow. Rest. Getting ready for the deadline. Getting ready for the games. Hangover time. All that good stuff. Y'all, thank you for 400 to chat, to my wonderful friends, Tiff, Siobhan, to the legend, Nikias, Duncan, to Leif, to Alex, to Alf, even you, Harry, to Jack.
I knew that was coming. I swear I knew that name.
To
was coming.
James Profetto, to George Corrales, to a bunch of names that you guys have never heard of because this podcast has gone on a long time, to Brian Goins. Fuck Brian so much, but God, I love him. He does so much for us.
Shout out Jack.
Shout out Jack. Brass, who is truly Herculean, to Joey, to Frankie, who truly at a time when we really needed someone came on and really helped us find some footing. Bless Frankie's heart. Moose, I love you,
church
man.
baby finger.
Yes.
Solana, my friend from college that came here and did this, and without you, you've been a support system for a long time. To Jen, to Brian M, the shadow producers helping behind the scenes. Kenny, the newest addition. To Mavs Maven, a true Heat Beat lifer.
How you thank Kenny before you thank me? I'm quitting.
I thank you and Siobhan. You were the first two. I said to my good friends Tiff and Siobhan, and of course Christian Hernandez, because I've said this before, but we're not doing this right now without Christian. And even to people like Ethan who believed in us a long time ago, to Blue Wire, to Kevin Jones, to everybody. And Chaz, this is a chat saying play him off the music. We wrap it up. Cheers to 400 more. I will drink to that. I will pour another.
Him one time.
Nikias, would you want to do the honors to close out the show? Would you want to say hit him one time with a drip drop? Do it for the people. For the hottie.
Absolutely
for the hottie.
The heck not.
For the hottie. For the hottie, Nikias.
Please.
Come on.
You don't have to do that
the hottie's yours if you do it.
It is.
One time.